appreciate our First Take fam here with us. And, of course, Donovan McNabb, too. We asked our Twitter followers a little earlier in the show, which quarterback would you rather have, Mitch Trubisky, Deshaun Watson, or other? The results are in. So 64% would take Watson, 18% Trubisky, 18% other. I found that last one a bit interesting. Max, I want to start with you. Do you agree with Twitter that Watson is the way to go?
I do, particularly when it seems like you'd have to reach for Trubisky, and Watson may fall to who wants him, like Cleveland, for example, with the 12th pick. Look, I get the talent evaluators are looking at tape and video and projecting how it will play in the pros, and many of them prefer Trubisky. I get that. But I always listen to, like, the typical football analyst guy, and what you hear about guys like Ben Roethlisberger is that's just a football player. Not just a quarterback, but a football player out there making football plays. To me, that's Deshaun Watson. That guy is a football player making football plays. He's a competitor. He's a guy who not only is versatile. I mean, you read option, quarterback draws, whatever you want to do, buying time in the pocket. He can do a lot of that stuff. You can use him in those ways. But then he refuses to lose. Like, in the moment of truth, he gets it done time and again. Even in the national title game, you heard the broadcast. Boy, he's taking these hits. He just has a look of a guy who's taking like body shots. And this dude just picked himself up and willed his team to win. So if you give me the physical attributes and you give me that stuff, and it's not like a Tim Tebow level of technical flaws in his delivery and stuff. And by the way, even then, Tim Tebow went 7-4 and won a playoff game. But you give me all that stuff in a superior technical package, he's available. I'm taking him.
He's a winner.
I'm not going with the whole football, analyst. A lot of people like to say he's a grinder. He's a film watcher. He's so smart and intelligent. Look, this man is a winner. And that's what it's all about. Being a quarterback, when you're coming from a winning tradition, you understand what it takes to get your team to that position. And not only that, but to get over that hump, that is Deshaun Watson. And the numbers speak for himself. Everything that we've seen throughout his career, the kid continued to improve each and every year. High expectations came into it this year because he went to the national championship. Everyone thought that they were going to get back. And the reason that they got back to that position was because of Deshaun Watson. Now, we can look at Trubisky, yeah. There may be an upside because we don't know. We haven't seen enough. Teams haven't been able to watch the film and be able to bounce back now in his second season as a starter and be able to attack him. So we don't know. Patrick Mahomes, I look at him and I say he's got more of an upside than Trubisky because of his ability to make plays, extend plays. He's got a strong arm. He can play from the pocket, and you've seen the plays that he was able to make. The only problem with Mahomes is, he's coming from a pedigree like we've seen, Johnny Manziel. That was what Johnny Manziel was. It was a guy that can throw it from anywhere, but more importantly, he was getting outside the pocket and making great plays. But that doesn't work in the NFL. You have to be able to work the 3-step, 5-step, 7-step drop. The read option, to me, is more like the wildcat. It shouldn't even been in the NFL because it's killing quarterbacks and it's killing the development of that quarterback. You have to be able to turn around, hand it off to the running back, or drop back and get it to your tight end or wide receiver. Hit that 18 to 20-yard deep out cut. Be able to put that foot in the ground in 5th step and hit that speed out.
One thing doesn't mean you can't do the other.
Well, the thing is, it's like a computer. If you're constantly putting things into that computer, that's what it's going to be used to. So if you're a read option quarterback, what do people like to do? Label them as read option quarterbacks. So now you have these mastermind offensive coordinators say, I have a guy that I can put in different situations, a la RG3. RG3 was playing from the pocket at Baylor. He had the ability to get outside the pocket. That was a bonus. But when he got to Washington, that's what Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan put him in that box, and all of a sudden it became a read option until he got hurt. Then he came out and said, I want to be a pocket passer.
And didn't have the reps in at an early enough phase.
Well, you have to be able to train these quarterbacks. Just because they won the Heisman don't mean that they're great quarterbacks. The league is faster. Everyone is smarter. You're playing against grown men, guys with 3, 4 kids at home, and I'm going to look at you and say, hey, if you ain't got it right, you got to go. I got to feed my family. I don't care how old you are. So you have to develop these young quarterbacks to be what they need to be successful.
But Trubisky's your third option.
He's my third option, absolutely.
Here's what disgusts me about this subject. If I were Deshaun Watson, or if I were a quarterback on the collegiate level and I had any cachet, I had the ability to sit up there and tell NFL scouts, NFL teams, y'all could kiss where you know what, I would do it. And here's why. Because if you are Deshaun Watson, who in 2 national championship games passed for over 850 yards, won a national championship, was 32-3 as a starting quarterback in big-time college football, and has proven himself to be a winner. You got a coach in Dabo Swinney calling this dude the Jordan of the draft in terms of not just his ability, but his class, where his head is at, his intelligence, his leadership ability, and all of these intangibles. And I'm going to drop in the draft because of some dude in the Tar Heels. It ain't basketball we're talking about here. This is football. The Tar Heel. When the hell have they been in a national championship picture? And this dude starts 13 games? Okay, and we didn't even hear much about him until the damn draft was approaching. And I'm going to lose. With all I've accomplished, if I'm Deshaun Watson, with all that I've accomplished in college football, I get relegated for him? And why am I talking to you? Why am I wasting my time? Why am I getting half naked, having you measure my vertical leaps, how much I run and all of this stuff, my eating habits, who I date, getting all in my... Why am I even talking to you if I got to sit up here and be relegated for some dude who was a damn no-name until the draft was approaching because he had 13 starts? Look, I wouldn't even show up. Just draft me. Just draft me.
Deshaun Watson,
not.
to me, it would be the first quarterback I would take. But the thing about the NFL is it's ruthless in terms of this stuff. They really don't care what you did on one level. If they evaluate you and go,
then why I got to go through all of that?
He's not accurate enough with the deep ball. That guy's more accurate. That's the way.
All I'm trying to say is this: I should not have. Right. If I'm a Deshaun Watson, I should not have. I'm not talking about just him. I'm talking about all the Deshaun Watsons of the world. I should not have to be subjected to the personal elements of screen. Damn it! Watch the tape. You saw what I did. Make your call. You got plenty of video. That's really what it is.
And the funny thing about this, and being an African-American quarterback, I'm with you, Stephen A., it's always something negative that they want to bring up, the accuracy. But they bring up the mobility and how our arm strength is. The thing that reminds me of this particular draft, it goes back to Cam Newton. Cam Newton. When Cam Newton, all of a sudden, he was the best player in college football.
Number one.
Won a national championship. But who was he battling with? Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine
Gabbert. As Stephen A. was, Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah.
That's Trubisky to me.
Yep. I mean, although Ben Roethlisberger kind of came out of nowhere and went high up in the draft, and people really weren't talking a lot about him till right before the draft.
Yeah, but he went to Miami of Ohio. Here's a guy who went to North Carolina.
Yep. And by the way, Carson Wentz, kind of the same thing, and Carson Wentz balled out last year.
North Dakota State, though.
Sometimes they're right.
North Dakota State won.
All right, Donovan, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Give it up for Donovan McNabb. We'll see you soon. Up next, my favorite part of the show, we're taking a trip to Mollywood, where the good people of Philadelphia get to put these two on the hot seat. First take on the road for the NFL Draft. Shout out to the ladies. Because the NFL Draft, but right now, folks, you are taking a trip to Mollywood, where our First Take fan gets to put these two lovelies on the spot. First up, we have Vernon Hubbard. Vernon, come on, a Cowboys fan with some nice frames.
Here you go, Stephen A. That's for you.
Stephen A. He won't even make eye contact, so disrespectful. Vernon, we know the draft worked out pretty well for your boys last season. What's your question you got for the guys?
What position do the Cowboys need to draft tonight?
First things first, I don't care. Secondly,
respect the man.
Secondly, excuse me.
The man.
No, I'm not respecting any Cowboy fan, particularly a Cowboy fan that shows up in Philadelphia with a Cowboy jersey on. The Cowboys need every damn thing on defense. An edge rusher, somebody that plays safety. And by the way, somebody that you can rely upon to stay off the weed. Security.
Stop it.
Get him out of here. Bye.
Please answer the question.
I say the Cowboys with their first-round pick should draft, I don't know, a punter. Something that doesn't matter so they won't be any good. They need a defensive backfield, and more than anything, they need an edge rusher. So edge rusher one, and they just got decimated in the defensive backfield, which wasn't very good anyway, so they got to replenish.
Thank you for being a professional answer.
Maybe they need somebody with diluted samples.
Thank
I don't
you
know.
so much. You are unbelievable. Kelsey, come on up. Here we go. Now we got a Philly fan. Good to have a lady here with us. But I think you have some love for someone today. Timmy Teebs. First Take loves Teebs.
Well, that's Stephen A's dear friend, as he'll tell you.
That's
With friends like that, you don't need enemies.
My
In the words
friend.
of Houdini.
My
Stephen A.
friend.
Kelsey, it's all you.
My friend.
Tim Tebow went 3 for 4 yesterday. Should they call him up till AA?
By the way, yes, they should. He's now, I think, 9 for 20, and he's hitting with extra base power. Yeah, he's hitting the ball like single A
Leader
pitching.
of the Tebow fan club
Single A
right here.
pitching ain't getting them out. And even if it's a mistake, oh, he just got hot and then whatever. Let's see Tebow how he does on the next level. He seems to be doing just fine on this one.
I give him a lot of credit where credit is due. I'm proud of him. He's playing decently enough. He's showing that he's improving and he's been working on it. And by the way, he brings more attention to the minor leagues than you'd ever get, because who pays attention to the minor leagues? So I give credit where credit is due, but more importantly than anything else, he's my friend.
Right.
And I just want him to be okay. So as long as that's all right and he's not throwing footballs, I'm good.
Kelsey, appreciate you. Fly,
CBA
Eagles,
loves
fly.
the kids, and Tim Tebow is his friend.
That's right.
So, up next, I have a little surprise for this man to my left, Max Kellerman. I know
Yes.
you love surprises.
Yes, let's go.
Can our next guest please come out?
What? Oh, tell me it's Odell Beckham. Tell me it's Eli
Nope.
Manning. Who is it?
It's your man crush.
What?
I've heard his name repeatedly on this show.
Well, I don't-
Eagles offensive tackle Lane Johnson.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness.
This is so good. Oh, the poor man's been sweating the whole time. Thank you so much.
There he is. Going on.
Do you know how much he loves you?
No, wait a minute.
Oh,
Let's
yes.
get the record straight.
Yes.
I despise this man. He plays for the Eagles.
Oh, you love him.
But I have to admit, he was the difference maker on that line for that offense, just as I said he would be.
What's up, Lane?
Glad to be out of there, man. It was hot in there for about 10 minutes. So I'm trying to cool it down.
We appreciate that. You got a question for the guys?
What are the Eagles going to do tonight in the draft?
Well, first of all, congratulations. I disagree. As much as big time as I know you are, I do not believe that there should be that big of a difference with the Eagles offense just because you were gone, okay? I don't believe that. As
But there
big
was.
time as you are.
But there
as
was.
big
You
time
wanna
as
refute the evidence?
listen. I saw wide receivers not getting open. I saw wide receivers dropping passes. I saw a couple of things. But
Lane, let me help you out here.
I will go.
Here's what happened. When he was playing, there was the Eagles team that was outscoring opponents that was looking like they were going to give the Cowboys run. Then he wasn't playing for a while. We all know why. And the Eagles couldn't buy a win. Then he came back, and they looked really good at the end of the season again. So, like, what do you think it is? There's a tipping point on the O-line.
Some people thought it was the play calling of Doug Peterson. Some people thought it was a few
That
things. I
happens
know
to
you're
be
big time.
correlated
I know
with
you're
his
big time.
presence.
I know you're big time, but you need more help than one person on the offensive line. Just stop it. Now, to answer your
Facts are
question,
facts.
here's what you really need.
Yeah.
You got Alshon Jeffrey. That's going to help. It would help if you're drafting a wide receiver like Mike Williams.
Yeah.
But if Jamal Adams falls
Yeah.
to that 14th slot,
Yeah.
to get a guy like him, that would be big time as well.
Need help in the secondary, right? What do you want? What do you want him to get?
I mean, personally, tonight we're going to be looking secondary. Maybe tomorrow, maybe looking at a running back. And
There it is.
then after that, I really don't know. That's
Right.
just my personal opinion.
I believe in
totally
Carson
agree.
Wentz, though. I believe in Carson Wentz.
yes.
We're all believers.
The dude is big time. I like the fact
Let me help you out.
that you got Alshon Jeffrey. Nelson Aguilar, I mean, this dude was a starter and got benched. Nobody brings that up. There were receivers that weren't showing up now.
Yeah, and we'll see what Torrey Smith can do, but they addressed receiver. They had no playmakers. Now they got a receiver. I agree they need a running back, but first, someone in the defensive backfield. So, they need a secondary player who can really cover.
Do you have anybody on the offensive line as good as you?
I know somebody better than me, Jason
You
Peters.
can take the mic, Lane.
True. That's true. And it's very humble and nice of you to
Hey, just
admit
got to
that.
give credit where credit's due. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Hey,
That's right.
I'm nowhere close. So.
Why don't the offensive line, why don't those guys get credit? Like, even Jeff Saturday's on the show, and I'm talking about you're going to be the difference. And even Jeff Saturday's like, look, Max, I love offensive linemen, but you're crazy. Lane Johnson's not going to be the difference, and sure enough, you were.
It's just, there's nothing sexy about a 300-pound man, to be honest with you. We're not catching passes. We're not throwing touchdowns, but when you go look at the salary, I mean, the offensive tackles, they get paid pretty high to protect, an important man in the quarterback. So it's often overlooked with offensive line. Without the offensive line, there is no offense.
What are y'all gonna? What are you trying to say, Lane Johnson? You trying to say now that you back and Peters is there with you and you got Carson Wentz and now you're quiet out? Are you trying to say that y'all are gonna win the division?
That's exactly what I'm saying right now. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Lane, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Your number one fan from
Yes.
New York.
A
Right
pox
here.
on your house, Lane Johnson. The Giants fan.
You don't
Thank
mean
you.
it.
When we come back, we're going to give the floor to our very own Stephen A. Smith, reminisce on his 17 years in Philadelphia, where he started his career